This is the Global Podcast Network, where executives and professionals connect, share, and inspire. Stay tuned for the conversations that drive success.
Welcome back to the show. We are ecstatic to have Corine Patti joining us here, our mental health therapist and Reiki master from Energy Wise Wellness. How are you doing today, darling?
Well, how are you, Jill?
Great. My fellow Long Islander, always excited to have you here. And really, you're so informative to helping so many with your work as a clinical social worker, mental health therapist, certified, what is it? Trauma professional and Reiki
Certified
master. You have
clinical trauma professional. Yes.
I can't remember all these, but really, you have a lot of
All
accolades.
those, yeah, the letters, it's all right. We got the gist of it. That's all that really matters, right?
Yes, well, we're excited that you're here to talk a little about energy healing through self-love. We're going to get to that in just a sec, but just give us a little overview as to, who you are and what you do for those that may not know.
Okay, well, it's great to be here again with you, Jill. Thank you for the intro. So I'm Corine Patti. I'm a clinical social worker, and my business is Energy Wise Wellness. So what Energy Wise Wellness aims to do is to really be wise about how we're managing our energy so we can be more in alignment with ourselves and with the universe or God or source or whatever higher power that you believe in.
Beautiful. And we're ecstatic that you're here to talk more about, don't forget, our free 15-minute consultation and an Energy Wise Wellness. Let's get started because you're talking about energy healing today and how that can help through, self-love, as you say, right? So self-love through self-care therapy. What is that all about?
So we talked about the different elements, right? How Energy Wise Wellness works to heal the mind, body, and the soul. So we talked about the physical part, the body. We talked about the mental, the mind, and now we're talking about healing the soul or our energy. Really, it's all energy in the end. So it's all connected, but it's helpful for us to break it up into different pieces just to manage it or partialize it, as we say in social work, breaking things down into manageable pieces so it's digestible and we can understand it. So self-love, right? The way we show ourselves love is through caring for ourselves and having loving thoughts, loving physical actions towards ourselves, and loving spiritual or energetic actions towards ourselves. And we want to nurture ourselves back to health because if we're going to do this assessment of ourselves and see where is it that I do need to nurture myself back to health? Where can I take those steps? Really make that assessment and see, okay, what little changes can I make? We talked about taking those little steps at a time because it's going to be more helpful for your brain to catch on to the changes that are happening
Yep.
through that. Yes. So creating a safe space to heal ourselves. Really, we need to have this level of safety on Maslow's hierarchy of needs, the next need above the physiological needs of the safety needs. So we need to create the safe space within all of our environments, within everything that we do, really. Um, so there's an abundance of modalities and healing ways to heal ourselves, right? There's an infinite amount of ways to heal ourselves that maybe we don't really tap into that we need to start to access because when we heal ourselves, we transmute a lot of stuck energy that is within us. Over the years, as we have different emotions, our emotions get trapped and they get stuck and they need to come out because they turn into physical ailments because everything is connected, right? And it really isolates us from others and we feel disconnected at some point, so we want to get this connection going. So we need to transmute any layers, any energy that is not serving us, that is holding us back from being our true selves, as we've spoken about.
Got
So
it.
yes.
Well, let me ask you, these mentioned this is all reprogrammable, right? And these we can start reprogramming our better hygiene, right? And all these habits. And how do you do all
Right.
this with, yeah, thank you.
Right, right. So we want to have the intention to do things that are going to bring us joy, to show ourselves that self-love and that self-care. And the first thing is making yourself the priority. Now, parents are going to say, well, how can I make myself the priority? My kids are the priority. And yes, that's true. Your kids are a priority. When I speak to clients, I help them shift their perspective on it by recognizing that if we can't fully take care of ourselves, we can't fully be there for others. So we have to truly and wholly love ourselves to be able to love others. And we do this by filling up our own cup, right? We
Yeah.
can't pour from an empty cup. So we're going to find these things that bring us joy to fill up our cup, and like you were saying before, reprogramming these hygiene habits that we have on all the levels, the mind, body, and soul. So I'm just going to read you the definition of hygiene just so we
Yeah,
have an
sure.
understanding, right? So, Oxford Languages Dictionary defines hygiene as, and I quote, conditions or practices conducive to maintaining health and preventing disease, especially through cleanliness. Right. So we need to figure out where is some of this muck that is hanging around, lurking around, and what do we want to clean? You can even do a ritual while you're cleaning. I'm cleaning out the closets of my mind, just different types of rituals that you're going to do to heal yourself on all different levels, to clean out all the muck that is dimming your light, right? The song Shine Bright Like a Diamond, right? There's a
Yes, I love
diamond, a
that song.
beautiful.
Yes.
Yes, I love that song too. Rihanna's amazing.
Wow, I
So,
love that song.
yeah, and it's very inspiring. So that might be something that you listen to in the morning, Jill, to get you pumped, let's
Shine
say.
bright like a
That's going to
diamond.
be,
Mm,
yes.
mhm. I like that.
Absolutely. Yeah. So let's think of it in those kinds of terms where we need to really clean our diamonds, or, clean the glass, and so we can see clearly through it, and
Yeah.
see ourselves. So we're going to start with the mind piece of this now. I'm going to go a little quickly through things. I do want to get through a bunch of things, right? I can't fit everything in this half-hour podcast. I have so many things that I want to share with you and with the world, Jill,
Yeah.
but I need to be mindful of how we're doing this. So, the self-talk, the mind, it's all going to start with our thoughts, right? Our thoughts create things. It creates everything. We manifest with our thoughts. So, and research into that, research into The Secret, research into Joe Dispenza for
Mm-hmm.
things like that. And we'll connect those things in later podcasts as well. So, the mind, I'm going to give you a quick example of how I shifted a negative core belief of mine that was coming up
Mm-hmm.
for me. And I share this with a lot of my clients. So, I sometimes I drop things, sometimes I spill things, sometimes I lose things. So, my automatic response to that was, oh, you're so stupid, right? Or, oh, what an idiot. Oh, what'd you just do? Look at you. You can't do anything right, right? Something
Yep.
like this. So I wanted to change that. So I noticed it one day, right? We have this conscious awareness of our thoughts, so we can grab a hold of them and we can change them, we can reprogram them, we can rewire them. So I said, wait a second, am I an idiot? Am I stupid? That's not
No,
true. And I
no.
started to think, well, I'm educated. That doesn't make me stupid. Well, or I try to learn and grow, and I'm trying, and that's not very nice to say to yourself, Corine. What are you doing? Would you talk to your best friend the way you're talking to yourself? Would you talk to someone that you love the way you're talking to yourself? I bet you wouldn't talk to anybody the way you talk to yourself,
Mm-hmm. It's so
right?
true. Yeah.
Right. So I started to have these boundaries with myself. We're not talking to ourselves this way anymore. And every time that thought came in, I shifted it with humor. Humor is a big way to shift it. So I kind of just laugh it off now, and it's funny. It really is funny. It brings me joy at this point. And I do need to be more careful. What can I learn? I need to be more careful with what I'm doing, which I am. So that's how we're going to shift some of the thoughts, and bring in those safe thoughts again, those loving thoughts, and appreciate ourselves with our thoughts, and what we're doing. Instead of degrading ourselves, which leads to self-loathing and all the things, be your own cheerleader. Try it for a day. It's going to be uncomfortable if you don't do it often, because the brain likes its comfort zone, as we've said. So you're going to challenge that thought with the new thought, and you're going to reprogram and put the new thought in every day. So with this, we need to also remember our routines. So our morning, our wake up time routines, our sleep
Yep.
routines, our daily routines. So that's when we're going to really reprogram. And when we wake up in the morning and before we go to sleep at night, our brains are going to be in this theta wave frequency happening. And that's where we can really see the subconscious mind, and we can change our brains that way. So what if you want to shift it? At least the first 10 minutes after waking up, you're going to put something positive in, positive affirmations. Maybe you pray in the morning or at night. I what I do in the morning is I usually do a quick meditation. If I can do a longer one, I'll do a longer one. I give myself Reiki during the meditation. I call in my angels, I call in my guides. I pray for world peace. I pray for Mother
Oh,
Earth. I pray for family and friends, all things like this, right? So you're putting out the good energy. So if you're starting your day like this, then you really don't leave as much room for the worry and all the different things. And you're starting it at a pivotal time when you can change your brain. So you want to utilize those times and the science of the brain to your advantage so you can shift how you're thinking, because how you're thinking is going to affect everything.
yeah, it's so true. We got to shift our minds. And oh, it's so hard to do that, to set that mental mind shift. What do I call it? Yeah, basically. And,
Yeah.
we also need to understand that there's a lot of boundaries, which is hard for us to accept and to stand by, right? How do you deal with boundaries? Okay. Because a lot of us need to set boundaries away from certain people, away from certain things, whether it's a phone, whether it's too much TV time, whether it's right,
Right.
like going out drinking or something like that. And
Yeah.
even
Right.
with family
Right.
members, that gets me. Yes.
Yes. Yes. So we've spoken about being your own parent and having that discipline, and being a kind parent to yourself, and redirecting yourself with what you're doing to remind yourself that we need to work on loving ourselves. And the way we love ourselves, it's an act of self-love to have respect for ourselves and to have boundaries. So we really need to start there to give ourselves permission to set the boundaries, because we've
Yeah.
been people pleasing maybe for so long and it feels uncomfortable to set the boundaries. So, it really can be as simple saying no, saying
Yeah.
no. And you don't have to give an explanation. A lot of times people give an explanation for it because they feel guilty or shameful, or they need to prove themselves to someone. And we really don't. And that's your private personal reason why you don't want to do something. You don't have to prove it to anybody. Just simply saying no and disengaging from the situation is okay. You can walk away until you feel that it's an appropriate time to talk about it, and you're going to decide that,
Yeah.
you
Well,
know.
and how, when it comes to getting the support from those that you may not have, right? Your community, as you say, and love. Some people don't have that from their friends, their families. What would you say to them at this point?
Right, right. So we do all need community. We need support. This is part of the self-love as well, because people that love us are going to fill up our cups, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes you leave your best friend or whatever it is, and it's like, oh, I needed that. It was so nice to see this person or this family member. They really lifted me up, and you feel rejuvenated. So we have to surround ourselves with people that are going to lift us up. And this also delves into the third level of the hierarchy of needs, which is
Mm-hmm.
having that sense of belongingness and love and that social piece of it. So we do need that community, around us, that's going to be supportive. That's part of the self-love as well.
Got it. And
Yeah.
did you want to move on, talk a little more about forgiveness and faith and this higher power in yourself?
So let's rewind a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
and let's go back to we talked about the mind a little bit and shifting things with the mind. Also learning, continuing to learn through education and expanding your mind, and to learn life lessons so you can grow as a person, right? So we'll get more into that in the future as well. So getting into the body and the physical routines as well, you're reprogramming all these hygiene habits and these routines. We were doing the mind routine and then the body routine. So what types of foods are you eating? Are you exercising? What's your schedule like with that? Are you making sure that you're ingesting healthy water? There's a lot of stuff that they put in water, and there's a lot of microplastics and things like that. Electrolytes in your water, health, clean electrolytes in your water is very important also for us to stay really hydrated. And taking care of our physical bodies, all the different, brushing your teeth, washing your face, all of that, really going to the doctor. And we spoke about all the physical different things, so you're going to reprogram all of those habits as well, that's really important. And
Mm-hmm.
you're going to reprogram the your soul and your energy hygiene, or your spiritual hygiene, let's say. You got to clean your energy. You can't go walking around with all this heavy bricks
Dirty
and monkeys
energy.
on your
I have
back.
a lot of them, I think. Yeah.
So we don't. A lot of times we don't have great spiritual hygiene, and we don't realize how much of other people's energy that we're carrying around. And if you're an empath, you really conform to other people's energy and take on their energy. But this energy needs to be transmuted. We cannot hold on to it, or it's going to make us sick in the end.
Yeah.
It's going to make us feel spiritually sick and mentally sick and physically sick as well. So the different chakras we spoke about, the different chakras have different functions for different life areas. If there is fear or obsessions in the different chakras, they get disproportionate and mucky and things. So we do need to do different things to clear our chakras, chakra meditation, chakra alignment. Of course, the Reiki will help with that. There's so many different ways to clear energy and different ways of energy healing that it's just infinite. And really, it's so infinite because each person is going to have their own way that they want to clear their energy. You have to try different things and see
Mm-hmm.
what's going to work for you and see what you like, so you can continue to do it for yourself.
Yeah.
So cleaning your energy, right? And developing or revealing the light within. So the divine light within. So we do this also by using our creativity.
Mm-hmm.
And you're going to see things like people with creative writing or poetry or music or art and things like that. People express themselves through their creativity, and their divine light is within their creation. So we want to do things like that because it's going to feed our soul, and it's going to also help others because they're going to see that and they're going to be inspired by it as well. So definitely getting creative and delving into your own hobbies and things. What kind of things do you like to do? Do you like to crochet, or do you like to play some kind of sport? Or did you used to play soccer when you were a kid and you'd really love to get back out on the field again, so you call a friend and you spend 20 minutes doing that. Different things like that can really help to reconnect you with yourself, because we get all these layers and layers, and we get disconnected from ourselves and others. So definitely delving into hobbies is a way to show ourselves self-love as well.
Interesting. Thank you. I didn't even think about that one. Any type of hobbies?
Any type of hobby, as long as it brings you joy.
Yeah, all right. I like shopping at Costco, but it also kills my wallet. That's like a hobby for me.
I I hear you, but it does bring you joy.
It
But maybe
does.
you
I like
I
just
like
going there.
shopping
Maybe I
there
could just
too.
go there just for the samples. I don't need to buy stuff because then I'll be broke. But I go there for like the free samples, and everyone laughs. Like, what are your hobbies? I'm like, I don't have hobbies. I like listening to country music, driving
Okay.
alone, which is hard when you have kids. And then I'm like, I like shopping at Costco. But you know what? It's more of being at the Costco. It's not really the shopping aspect because I really don't need
Right.
everything. But I just like going there for like the free little samples. And yeah,
Right, right. It's like a day trip. You're doing something different. I love going food shopping. It's one of my favorite activities. It makes me really happy. So I hear you. But we do need to be mindful of our finances and things. And then it can turn into addictions, right? Shopping addictions and things like this. A lot of us, me included, fall into this category. And maybe we don't need that much stuff, really.
exactly. Too much stuff. All right. What else?
Yes. So there's once again an abundance, infinite ways that we can heal ourselves. I'm gonna name some right now off of a list that I have, but it's infinite. So you maybe do your own brainstorm. Do your own brainstorm right from your higher self. Take a few nice deep breaths, make a little practice, light a candle, these different rituals that we can do for ourselves that really speak to our soul, to our higher selves. So do your own brainstorm of different hobbies or self-care practices or different creative things that you can do. So I just have this list here. So pray, meditation, breathing, mindfulness, chakra sizing, do eating things that are the colors of the different chakras or wearing things that are the different colors of the chakras if you're working on a specific chakra, using the elements to heal ourselves, anything in nature to heal ourselves, really, the moon, the sun as well. Sound healing, listening to and creating music, playing instruments, using your voice for healing, humming, singing in the shower, one of my favorites. Um, Sigh, laughter, getting a massage or a facial, plant therapy, earthing, water, gardening, swimming, baths, writing, art, cooking, photos, dance, cleaning out your space, organizing your space is really important because it kind of reflects where our mind is, the way our space is. So if we do need to take some time to create a safe space around us, that's really important for creating that safe container for all these different things as well. The solfeggio frequencies, binaural
Mm-hmm.
beats, hertz frequencies, smudging to cleanse, shielding yourself with light, crystals, essential oils, hanging out with kids, and hanging out with animals.
Got it. Yeah. Well, I love
Yes.
hanging out with animals. That's a good one.
Yes. Yes. Any other ones that I didn't mention that you could think of, Joe?
Yeah. Well, you know what? What about what what about with kids? Can I add kids to this? The good and the
Yeah,
bad about
yep, I said kids and animals. Hanging out with kids
the kids
lifts
that
our
wait,
spirits. They're carefree.
but hold on, I gotta rephrase it a little. I like
Sorry.
hanging out with kids that aren't mine. No, no, no offense. I love my kids, but I have so much more patience with other people's kids. For example, I have my cousins are all coming into town tomorrow, and they're staying with me. There's two twins,
Nice.
1.5 years old. There's a 6-year-old and 8-year-old, and then my kids are 8 and 10. But I get more joy out of being with other people's kids than mine because I feel like they listen better. They're my kids are just used to me and like they run the roost here and they just like don't listen well. But is that
Right.
bad to say? I do like, and I go to the supermarket, I see like a little kid, I like talking to them, and like I do like other people's kids. That brings me more joy than mine. Mine bring me joy in other
Yeah.
ways, but on a daily basis, I like being around
Right.
other people's kids, to be honest. And even when my kids'
Right.
friends come over, because they're more respectful, they're kinder, they're more yeah. So
Right.
I'm gonna say
Right.
people's kids. Sorry.
Right. I don't think that I have a
Yes.
suspicion that you're not the only parent that thinks that way, Jill. I think a lot of people are going to resonate with what you just said for sure. And the thing is that we get really comfortable in our relationships and it becomes an everyday and we start to lose appreciation for certain things and sometimes we don't have great boundaries and
Yeah.
that leaks in as well. I'm actually the next podcast, which is going to be in September, is going to be on parenting skills. So we're going to go over different things and rewiring the parenting skills as well because kids throw tantrums. They don't like it. So they use that to manipulate us a lot of times. And when we feel bad, we don't want them to be sad. So sometimes that happens. And then we feel like they're a pain in the butt because of all the things with that. But really it's you we have to evaluate what is it in our different relationships that is or is not serving us and how can we shift certain things to create that spark again in the relationship, to create that light again in the relationship. What's dimming the light? What's the barrier
Yeah.
to that? Because I know you appreciate your kids and you like hanging out with your kids, but it just becomes such a programming of sorts that we kind of just get stuck in that way. So maybe there needs to be some kind of refresh there, as we all need a refresh in
Yeah.
all of our relationships, you
No,
know?
really, absolutely, we do for
Yes.
sure. I'm looking for
Yeah,
one.
so yes, definitely. So I know we have about 5 minutes or so. So
Hmm.
getting into, we did talk about the boundaries and the supports and things. So forgiveness, finding forgiveness in your heart is probably the most healing thing that you can do for yourself. The thing is that people are so hurt because they've hurt themselves or others have hurt them, and they get resentful. And
Wow.
resentfulness is one of the most yucky emotions that's going to keep you on a very low energy vibration. And we want to keep our vibe high. So we don't want to be feeling the resentment. We have to heal it. And the only
But
way to heal it is through forgiveness. So forgiveness for yourself, for anything that you've done, and forgiveness for others. Really, when you forgive others, it's really for yourself
yeah.
because you're not holding on to that anger anymore. So you're not allowing that person to hurt you anymore. So if you want to trick the brain a little bit and reframe it, you can say, well, I'm not going to hold the resentment for you anymore because I'm not going to let you hurt me anymore. You've hurt me enough. So I'm going to let that go because I need to heal myself. I'm not going to sit in that hate and that anger. And even for ourselves, when we don't have boundaries, when we don't have self-love, we kind of secretly have resentment for ourselves, which could lead to self-loathing, which is very unhealthy for all of our healths, you know?
So true.
Yes. So we were talking about this stuck emotional pain. There's this documentary called E dash motion,
Okay.
energy in motion, and you can find it on a streaming thing somewhere, and it's a really good documentary. It's going to tell you all about the science behind this healing stuff and the blocked energy and different ways to heal yourself, more of the infinite ways to heal yourself. It's a really good one. If you're, get in the mood, get in there, take some notes if you need to. So, and then last but not least is having faith. Having
Oh,
faith is so important. Having faith in yourself, right? That believing in yourself, that trusting in your inner divine guidance, and having faith in some type of higher power. I don't care if it's the plant, Jill, that's your higher power, but you need to believe in something higher than yourself, right? Just look around you. Look at the plants, look at the trees, how can there not be a higher power? It's magnificent. If you don't believe
yeah.
in that, then you're not really seeing what's out there, so we need to shift our consciousness and shift our conscious awareness to this abundance consciousness and see everything that's out there and really have faith and trust in this higher power, in ourselves, that we're going to move through this divine guidance to move into this higher level of consciousness for ourselves and for others. And really, what's happening right now with all the energies and the Lionsgate portal and the 8-8 and all this stuff and the quantum jumping and all of this, you may have heard some buzz about this. It's really about evolving in our consciousness, and we're going to evolve in our consciousness and our conscious awareness of things by loving ourselves and healing ourselves. This is the key. This is the key because remember, we are an
Yeah.
extension of the divine, right? So if you want to call it God or source or whatever it is, we say that the hands of God, right? We're the fingers, right? So we're all connected. So we are the higher power because we're all connected. We have our higher selves, which is connected to the divine source.
Mm-hmm.
So let's tap into it. Let's believe in it and let's create with it, and love ourselves.
Yep.
We need this.
We need our self-love for sure. And have that faith in the higher power, which of course for everyone is different, right? Whatever your faith
Yes.
is or higher power,
Right.
but it's still there. And
Right.
it's great to acknowledge, to believe, and to, have that faith.
Definitely, definitely. It could be nature, Jill. It could be
Yeah.
nature, whatever
Yeah.
it is. And don't forget in the supports, talking about a higher power, remembering the unseen forces that are supporting us, our angels, our guides, ascended masters, your mama, right?
Yeah, thank you. Exactly. All
Yes.
those have passed before us. They're there. And I love when I get to talk to like empaths and stuff and, everyone, they're there, they're around us. And but everyone may not believe that, but they are. I can't tell you
Right,
what to think, but yeah,
right,
I so believe
right.
in
We
that.
weren't
Thank
taught to
you.
believe it. We weren't
No.
taught to believe it, Jill.
Mm-hmm.
We weren't taught to trust in our inner guidance because then we have the power,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Oh yeah.
So
Mm-hmm.
this is taking our power back. So this way we can discern what is real and what is not for us and believe in our own power, our own divine guidance. That's where it is.
Got it. Well, thank you so much for being here and for your free 15-minute consultation. Reach out energywisewellness.com or go to Psychology Today. Go to the websites, and it's Corine Patti, spelled CorinePatti.
Thank you, Jill. I appreciate that.
No, thank you. Appreciate it. We'll be back, I guess, next month, right? Talking parenting
Yep,
skills.
September 18th,
All
parenting
right.
skills. I'll see you there. Enjoy the
You
rest
got
of
it,
your summer.
sweetheart. Oh, you too, sweetheart. Thank you so much. Enjoy the beautiful weather. Thank you.
I will.
This is the Global Podcast Network, where executives and professionals connect, share, and inspire. Stay tuned for the conversations that drive success.